Discover Princess Leonor of Spain's majestic final stopover aboard the training ship Juan Sebastián de Elcano. A triumphant arrival for Felipe VI's heir, cheered by the crowd, admired by the authorities, and followed by the entire world. Go behind the scenes of a royal moment filled with emotion, symbolism, and promises for the future of the Spanish monarchy. The sea, the wind, and eyes turned toward the horizon. And suddenly, a silhouette in an immaculate white uniform, her bearing haughty, her hair tucked under her military cap, her clear eyes illuminated by the light of the Atlantic. It was Leonor of Spain, heir to the throne, who appeared on the deck of the Juan Sebastián de Elcano for her final official stopover. A stopover that was not only the end of a voyage, but the beginning of a new era. That of a princess gradually establishing herself as a future queen, ready to embody the modern and solid face of a monarchy that was reinventing itself. The welcome was worthy of a grand state reception. The port's cannons thundered in her honor, local authorities crowded the quayside, and the crowd, gathered since dawn, waved Spanish flags with emotion. Some had traveled several kilometers just to catch a glimpse of her for a few seconds. For many, Leonor is no longer a shy teenager. Through her missions and military training, she has become a confident woman, a natural leader, a unifying figure in a country in perpetual transformation. As she walked down the catwalk, her bearing evoked the greatest sovereigns. Her firm gait recalled iconic images of Elizabeth II in her youth or, more recently, Princess Victoria of Sweden. But Leonor remains unique, deeply rooted in Spanish history and in the hearts of her people. This final stopover for the training ship was carefully orchestrated. Nothing was left to chance. The Spanish Navy deployed its finest officers to surround the princess. Children in school uniforms presented her with bouquets of flowers while the band sang the national anthem. The scene looked like something out of a movie, but it was real. A future queen returning from the sea, forged by the waves, hardened by the wind and discipline, transformed by the experience of the open sea. Leonor didn't just learn to sail a sailboat, she learned to embody her role as a budding leader. For months, she lived at the sailor's pace, sleeping in cramped cabins, sharing tasks, enduring storms. Nothing was spared, and that's what makes this return so poignant. Because behind the uniform, there is a 19-year-old young woman who, far from the gilded palaces, has chosen rigor to better understand what she embodies. Her speech, delivered from the ship's deck, was brief but powerful. She thanked her comrades, greeted her superiors, and addressed a message to the young people of her country. The future is built with courage, honesty, and commitment. Her words resonated like a silent oath, an echo of the promise she made during her constitutional majority in Parliament, to always serve Spain. The next day's newspapers unanimously echoed it. Leonor, the future queen of all, ran the headline El País. Leonor, forged in naval steel, wrote ABC. Royal commentators, even the most critical, praised her steadfastness, her ability to inspire support across political divides. And this was no accident. For months, the royal household had been meticulously preparing for the handover. Felipe VI, who was keeping a low profile during this stopover, deliberately allowed his daughter to take center stage. Letizia, for her part, watched with pride, but also with the restraint that characterizes her style. A role of attentive observer, aware that her daughter was now entering a new phase of her public life. The maritime symbolism of this moment is not insignificant. Spain, a major naval power, sees in Leonor a figure of historical continuity. Her embarkation aboard the legendary ship Juan Sebastián de Elcano had already made an impression. But it was her way of blending into the crew, respecting the military hierarchy, and participating in maneuvers selflessly, that made an impression. Many officers confided that they had not expected such involvement. She never asked for special treatment, reported a lieutenant. She was always there, on time, ready to serve. She's a true soldier. This attitude contrasts with the clichés about young people of her generation. Leonor embodies a form of modern nobility of spirit, a requirement she imposes first and foremost on herself. Her return coincides with a complex national context. Spain, marked by regional tensions and a crisis of confidence in certain institutions, looks to the princess with a mixture of hope and expectation. She is seen as a possible response, a symbol of unity. Far from empty rhetoric, it is in her gestures, in her posture, that the people seek signs of appeasement. Her sincere smile, her attentive gaze, her ability to listen during crowds, all of this gradually builds a powerful emotional bond. And this bond, no communication campaign can create. It is born from perceived sincerity. And Leonor seems to embody this rare sincerity in the spheres of power. Young Spaniards, for their part, identify with her. Not because she's perfect, but because she seems real. She makes an effort, stumbles sometimes, always gets back up. And that's perhaps her greatest asset, a tangible humanity. This final stopover therefore doesn't mark the end of a cycle, but rather the opening of an essential chapter. Upon her return to land, new missions await her. Official visits, diplomatic internships, perhaps even an immersion in European institutions. Preparation for her royal future is accelerating. And each step is designed to best equip her for the colossal responsibilities that await her. Public opinion knows it, the media reminds us. Leonor won't be able to just smile at galas. She will have to embody a monarchy that is useful, credible, and, above all, in tune with the expectations of the 21st century. Her last evening on board was punctuated by a moving ceremony. A presentation of decorations, sea shanties, expressions of camaraderie. Then, in the privacy of the deck, she reportedly wrote a few words in her journal. A habit she has cultivated since childhood. This journal could one day become a precious testament to the transformation of a teenager into a head of state. For everything about Leonor seems to have a dual meaning. Behind the apparent simplicity of a uniform lies the complexity of a destiny. Behind a speech lasting a few minutes, there is a vision, a strategy, a will to endure. As the Juan Sebastián de Elcano leaves port again, this time without her, a question hangs in the salty air: how far will Leonor go? Will she be the sovereign who will mark her era, or the heir to a constantly changing throne? The coming months, the coming years, will tell. But on that day, in that sun-drenched port, one thing was certain: Spain had regained hope. And you, do you think Leonor will become an unforgettable queen?